because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable.
Another person writes, finally an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust.
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy. We live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one. He's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler here at Shane Company. Come on in, feel at home, and let's find your dream engagement ring. I'm proud to work for a company that puts customers first and lets them shop the way they want to. See, we believe shopping for an engagement ring should be fun without any of the pressure. We don't work on commission, so finding your dream ring is truly on your terms. We'll be right by your side as your friend and jeweler to help you find a ring more beautiful than you imagined and stick to your budget too. We have all of the styles and all of the smiles. You can even watch our in-house jewelers working their magic inside your neighborhood store. It's that kind of care and craftsmanship that makes Shane Company's free lifetime warranty the best in the business, saving you thousands over time and giving you peace of mind. No appointment necessary, or check us out at shaneco.com. Because a friend knows when you're ready, you're ready. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Head to your local Whole Foods market to celebrate our Summer Fruit Fest with up to 40% off in-season fruit and more. Start saving on best of season favorites now through July 29th.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
A sweep over the weekend by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Does it change the trade deadline plans for Mike Hazen? Should it change the deadline plans for Mike Hazen? That's one of our top stories here today on this Monday edition of the Lunch Break. Chris Schubert with you here on KDUS AM 1060, always streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. Producer Evan behind the glass. He's taking your phone calls today. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also watch the show over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Good weekend, Producer Evan. Yes? Play some golf this weekend, perhaps?
Good weekend. Did not play some golf.
Wow.
Just kind of, I didn't really do much, honestly.
Upset of the century, you not playing golf on the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't sneak out there. Just didn't really. It was a pretty lazy weekend. Just didn't really do much.
Nothing wrong with a weekend like that. Nothing wrong with just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the time off. And now you're off later on this week, so we have you until Thursday.
Yeah, short week for me.
Short week for you this week. You're filling in this week with some other stuff. You're hanging out with Rooster most of the week.
It'll be Rooster with me all week.
Yeah.
And then
I'm hanging out with Rooster on Friday.
Yeah.
For the sports zoo. So all that coming up here throughout the course of the week on the KDUS AM 1060 dial. We get into our top story, call it the Daily Special. And yes, it's that sweep from over the weekend.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
You can't start the second half of a season any better. 3 games, 3 wins. 3 games against one of the 4 teams that is directly in front of you in the National League wild card standings. So when you face one of those four teams, the perfect outcome over the weekend for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hosting the St. Louis Cardinals, we circled this series and said, hey, you start very nice coming out of the second half. A real chance to start the second half and at least make it difficult for Mike Hazen. What did we say last week when discussing this series? That a sweep would not change our minds. A sweep would not make us pivot and say this team now cannot be sellers ahead of the July 31st deadline, which is now just 10 days away. And we used math. We used the stats to tell us why the emotion of pulling off a 3-game sweep would not change how we feel about this squad. Because what did the math say? What did the numbers say about this Diamondbacks team sweeping over the weekend? And I'm sorry if I'm the wet blanket to start the week. I'm sorry if I'm choosing to be the negative Nancy. This is reality. The Diamondbacks had the perfect start to their second half. Back to 500 after a sweep. Swept a series against one of the four teams that is in front of them in the wild card standings. It doesn't get any better than that. They still are behind that St. Louis Cardinals team. They still are behind all four of the teams that they were behind when we last spoke on Thursday. Nothing's changed. Maybe the numbers have changed. Maybe how far behind those four teams has changed. They still have to leapfrog all four of those teams. So unless they're going to keep doing what they did over the weekend, and there's a lot more sweeps in their future, nothing changed over the weekend. You may feel differently. The vibes may be different on a day like today. You may be excited. Oh, maybe they're going to do it. Maybe they're going to crawl back into this race. Maybe they're going to force Mike Hazen to be a buyer instead of a seller. I cannot be that person today. I am putting the emotions to the side. The basic arithmetic, the basic math problem. They were four teams in front of them, four teams separating between them and a wild card space when we last spoke last week. That still remains true today until that changes. Until they start to leapfrog those teams along with doing things like they did over the weekend against the Cardinals. Until that happens, the plan remains the same. This team is a seller over the next 10 days. This team is the seller of the 2025 deadline. You want more just data today? You want me to cut right through all of the emotion, the feel good, the vibes after sweeping the Cardinals over the weekend? In the first half of the season, the Arizona Diamondbacks on 5 other occasions put together a winning streak of 3 games. I'm going to tell you what they did after each of those 3-game winning streaks. Their first, very early in the season, March 30th through April 2nd, about as early as you can get into the season. They then lost the next day on April 3rd and lost 3 of 4 after that 3-game winning streak. April 12th through April 15th, they had a 3-game winning streak. What did they do? They won their next 2 games after that, extended that winning streak all the way up to 5 games. I believe that's their longest winning streak of the season. June 1st through the 4th, a 3-game winning streak. What did they do after that? Lost 3 of 4, including getting swept by Cincinnati. You all remember that series, right? A lot of rain. The game on Friday, they had to resume it on Saturday. A bad weekend after what they did against Atlanta, coming back on the final day of that game. I remember we were on the air for that game, made that big comeback in the 9th inning, extended their winning streak to 4, then lost the next 3 games. June 9th through the 11th, 3-game winning streak. What did they do? They won the next 2 against San Diego, but then got back to being a seesaw team. And then June 19th through June 21st, they had a 3-game winning streak. What did they do after that? They lost 5 of their next 7. Not one time in the 5 examples from the first half of this season that I've just brought to the table did that 3-game winning streak pole vault them into winners of 10 of 12, winners of 8, 9, 10 in a row, 7 straight series wins. You can't find that in this data. You can't find that in what they did. In fact, in 3 of these 5 series or 5 stretches that I've mentioned, they went on a little bit of a lull after that. 3 of 4 at the beginning of the year, 3 of 4, including getting swept by Cincinnati, 5 of 7 after a 3-game winning streak between June 19th and June 21st. This team has not shown that they can take something like what happened over the weekend and capitalize on it. You may want to feel like they can do that to start the second half. You may want to go off of vibes today. They got the All-Star break. They got a chance to reset. They got a chance to clear their minds. They got a chance to be away from baseball. And now they've come back knowing that their season hangs in the balance, and their first test up, a series against a team that is one of the 4 that is directly in front of them, and they sweep. And you just hope that the momentum keeps on rolling. More power to you if you can watch this team all season long and still think they have that run in them. I am choosing to believe the team that has played 100 games up until this point. I am choosing to believe the team that through those 100 games is an even 50 and 50. Middle of the road, mediocre, 500 baseball. That's what this team has been all season, and there is nothing that occurred over the weekend that makes me think that in the next 10 days, between now and July 31st, that they are going to be able to play to a level that takes selling off the table. I apologize, Producer Evan, if I'm being the wet blanket today. If I'm coming out of the gates here, daily special, should be excited about a sweep, should be happy with all the home runs Eugenio Suarez is hitting, happy that this team started as hot as they did. But I can't do that because I have been out on this team for a couple of weeks now. I have said for the last couple of weeks that this team needs to be a seller at the deadline. And 3 games against the St. Louis Cardinals is not going to change my mind. Now, you sweep your next series, I at least have to reevaluate my position a little bit.
You have 10 days left. You have 9 games till the deadline. They need to win 7 for me to be like, oh, they're a buyer.
You want to do this early? You want to play
No.
You want to play the win-loss game this early?
I don't even want to play the game. I'm just like, that's still the work that they have to do. They swept this weekend. They're still 4.5 back. And guess what? They swept the Cardinals. They didn't pass them. And it's not like they're within 1 game. They're still a game and a half back.
Yeah, as things currently sit after the sweep, they sit 4.5 games back, the final spot in the National League wild card. They are 1 game back of the St. Louis Cardinals, who sit in front of them at 51 and 49. They're 2 games back of the Cincinnati Reds and the San Francisco Giants. And they are the full 4.5 games back of the San Diego Padres, who sit at 54 and 45 and in possession solely of the last wild card spot. Now okay, everybody, you want to do this. I'll play along here for this part of the program. Let's look at the calendar. Let's play the game. Let's do some scoreboard watching, because you host the 57 and 42 Houston Astros for a series starting tonight. Do you know where St. Louis goes? They go to play a series in Colorado against the 24-win Colorado Rockies. So how quickly is everything that this team did over the weekend going to be erased? Because here's what here is the most important point to all of this. You cannot lose ground over these next 10 days. You can't fall to 5.5, 6.5, 7. You can't fall that far behind. You have to tread water or move closer. I think you'd have to move closer in order to reevaluate everything. But you can't, maybe worst case scenario, you can stay at 4.5 games back. You're playing a 57 and 42 Astros team. You're playing an Astros team that is one of the best in baseball. An Astros team that has the 3rd best record in the American League. That's the team that you're welcoming in for a series. While the St. Louis Cardinals, just one of the 4 teams in front of you, are taking on the 24 and 75 Colorado Rockies. Now, maybe you'll get some help because the Giants are playing the Braves, who can be pesky at times. Maybe. Where's the help going to come from? You have a tough series. Other teams have a softer schedule here coming up. I understand the vibes are immaculate after starting the second half the way that they did, being perfect so far to start this portion of the season. That doesn't change reality.
And, you talked about the Giants and the Cardinals. With Cincinnati, They're taking on Washington, and San Diego is in Florida, taking on the Marlins.
You
So
gaining any ground over the next couple of days?
Where do you find that, right? And so it goes back to you had that 9-game stretch. You didn't find it there. So you have to take advantage of these other series. And unfortunately, when you take on the Astros, even if you sweep the Astros, there's a legit chance you don't catch a game.
And that's why when you said, "Oh, they've got to go 7-2 over these next 9 games," that might not gain them any serious ground. Now, overall, that would be 10-2 in the 12 games since the All-Star break. That's something that you can put stock into.
If you went 10-2 and over your last 10 at that point, you would be 8-2. You could really start to kind of have that conversation.
Sure.
But until then, I just need something to show me that, one, they're still in the fight. That was this weekend. But then, two, I need this wild card race to come back to me.
Mike Hazen said it. Told Jesse Rogers it a couple of weeks ago. We need the wild card race to come back to us a little bit. He understood in that moment that this team was going to need help if they were going to be buyers at the deadline, if this playoff race was going to come back to them, if they were going to be in this mix to be able to go for it in August and September. Things would have to get tighter. Maybe this weekend was the start of things getting tighter. But I've got a bigger sample size of this team laying an egg after having solid stretches like the one they had over the weekend. I have a larger sample size of them being a mediocre, middle-of-the-road, 500 baseball team. You want me to believe and to buy in and maybe buy some stock in the 2025 Arizona Diamondbacks with what they did over the weekend? Give me a bigger sample size. You want to show me something? Go out there and beat the Astros tonight. Make it 5 in a row, dating back to the last game against the Angels before the All-Star break. Now you're starting to build something. Win this series against the Astros. Now you've got something. You're starting to build a sample size to where I can stop, pause, and say, okay, hold on. Should we reevaluate? But on a day like today, after one series, after one nice set of 3 games, when I showed you the top of the segment, a bunch of other times where they did this, never turned into anything. 5 times they had a 3-game winning streak at least in the first half of the season. Yet here we sit, starting the second half, 500 baseball club. So they never took advantage of any of the other scenarios that they had to start the year. So what makes you think that this series, this 3-game winning streak, this sweep of the Cardinals is any different? You're buying into vibes. You're buying into a fantasy land. I'm not willing to do that today. Maybe I'll get on board the journey. Maybe I'll be a part of the vibes train after this series against the Astros. But right now, no. The course, if I'm the captain of this boat, we are still full steam ahead towards being sellers at the deadline. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream if you want to get involved with the program over there and share your comments. It's the video version of the show, so if you want to watch the program, you can do so over there. When we come back, they addressed it in the offseason, but it feels like in order to prove everybody wrong, they're going to have to perform. That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Cocomelon.
Make memories you'll cherish for years to come. Join Miss Appleberry, JJ, Cody, Nina, and Cece for a lively Melon Patch musical adventure in this exciting interactive live show. Saturday, October 4th and Sunday, October 5th at the Arizona State Fair. Sing along. Dance along. Play together. Tickets on sale now at azstatefair.com and include Arizona State Fair admission. It's a celebration of connection and childhood wonder. Coco Melon Sing Along Live inside the Coliseum at the Arizona State Fair.
In Las Vegas, live music doesn't just start. It hits different. The biggest names in music will be taking the stage. Beyonce, Pitbull, Nas with the Las Vegas Philharmonic, Motley Crue, Gym Class Heroes, Kelly Clarkson, Janet Jackson, Lynyrd Skynyrd, live in Vegas. Go to visitlasvegas.com to see the full summer lineup.
Right now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale, receive 0% APR for up to 60 months on a brand new 2025 Kia EV6.
That's right, 0%. And don't wait, because right now you can take advantage of $12,500 in current cash incentives on the 2025 EV6 and 26 EV9. Take advantage of this offer on our electric vehicles while we have a great selection and before these offers expire later this year. Go to markkia.com to see our great selection of pre-tariff pricing inventory.
The name to remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are making moves. Moves the Steelers generally never make. No, not a move on their head coach, like most Steeler fans would like, but moves almost everywhere else. They locked up TJ Watt. They brought in Aaron Rodgers. They brought in DK Metcalf, as well as vets, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, and Jonnu Smith. Now, I'm not saying these big names are all in their prime. In fact, none of them are. But collectively, it makes for the most un-Steeler-like offseason ever, and it does make them better. The question is, how much better? All of this better be worth at least one playoff win, and honestly more than that, because if they go 9-8 again and miss the playoffs or get worked in the first round, not one Steeler fan will care that Mike Tomlin kept his consecutive non-losing season streak alive, especially if it means keeping his non-playoff game-winning streak alive. Win right now or bust it all up heading into 2026. I'm Jim Rome.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Most of the time spent during the NFL offseason was focused on one question for the Arizona Cardinals. Could they upgrade their defense enough? Could they make enough meaningful changes to raise the floor on a group that needed the floor raised? They needed to get better with their pass rush. They needed to have more consistency with that group. It wasn't really the backside of the defense. I think everybody loved the corner room, Loved what they had in the safety room with Budda Baker leading the charge there. It was up front. It was the front four. It was the guys getting after the quarterback. That was how everything was framed. You had a better than expected year last year. Your offense looks like it was starting to put the pieces together, but your defense just ran out of gas, right? They kept your season afloat there in the middle. Then your offense hit a little bit of a wall, and your defense certainly hit a wall post-bye week in the second half of last season. So could you fix that? Because if you fixed that and you got more pressure on the quarterback to go along with an offense that had a lot of continuity, an offense that had a play caller that people were interested in bringing in for head coaching interviews, with a number 4 overall pick, a reworked offensive line, a running back that everybody loved, a tight end that people think is top 3, maybe the best tight end in football. Got a lot of great things on that side of the ball. If you could fix the defense, things would turn a corner. Well, they did that. We would all agree that the Cardinals fixed their defense, right? Nobody disagrees that the Cardinals invested heavily in fixing the front 4 of their defense. Walter Nolan was their first-round pick in this past year's draft class. They spent money on Josh Sweat as a marquee pass rusher in free agency. They upgraded the depth options of their defensive line, specifically the interior of their defensive line, bringing back a Cardinals hero in Calais Campbell, a wily, great veteran in Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean, how could you look at that group and not say that they are better? Well, 2 stories today shared 2 different outlooks on that defense and that front 4 that I just described. And the reason why we're going to give you both of these stories is because it paints one very specific picture. And it is a picture that this group still has to prove it themselves. We'll start. Warren Sharp, who covers the NFL, does a great job from an analytical perspective, breaking down the game. His preseason guide to all 32 teams is a must-read. I had to stop producer Evan the other day because producer Evan was getting ready to order Warren Sharp's NFL preview book. And he was looking to order the paperback version that has all the pages printed,
which is like $70 more.
Well, because the pages are all in color, and people don't print books anymore. Everything's a PDF. When you can buy the PDF version for $20, I was like, producer Evan, what are you doing here? Let me save you the $50. Buy it, read it on a tablet, read it on a computer. He releases this book every year. It's a must-read for diehard football fans. So today, or over the weekend, they released their front 7 rankings for all 32 teams. And they had the Arizona Cardinals ranked all the way down at the bottom at 28th of 32, 21 total points. The score is based on an average rank of positional unit on a 100-point scale. So if all voters had a team at number 1, then they would have a 100 score. Now, nobody got a 100 score. The Vikings were number 1 at 86, but the Cardinals at 28 with 21 points. This was the little blurb written up about the Cardinals. Quote, despite spending a first-round pick on Walter Nolan, signing multiple veteran free agents, the defensive front is the weakest point on the Cardinals, according to our rankings, sitting at 28th. All right, well, not a whole lot there, Mr. Sharp, for us to break down, but you had them ranked 28th out of 32. Well, today, over on ESPN.com, ESPN wrote a story, which NFL teams have the best and worst rosters. Let's stack all 32 projected lineups. Now, the Cardinals clocked in at number 17 on this list, and maybe we'll do a deeper dive as the week goes on their ranking here as a middle-of-the-road team in the NFL. But I found it funny. Remember, I just told you that somebody in this space who's well-respected has a football preview guide that I'm going to be purchasing later on today after the show, had the defensive line, the front 4, as the worst-ranked group for the Arizona Cardinals defense. A group that overall was 28th out of 32 NFL teams. This story over at ESPN has different blurbs. Biggest strength, biggest weakness, X factor for 2025, the non-starter to know, and then it has the projected starters for the team going into 2025. Do you know what is listed as the biggest strength for the Cardinals going into the 2025 season according to ESPN? the interior of their defensive line. The biggest strength on the entire team, the interior defensive line. Their biggest weakness last season has become their biggest strength, is what Mike Clay says in this story over at ESPN. Quote, after finishing 2024 ranked 28th and 20th in pass rush win rate and run stop win rate, respectively, Arizona now has potential. And it goes on to talk about all the guys we mentioned, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson from the last couple of years, allowing Justin Jones and LJ Collier and Dante Stills and Bilal Nichols to be the depth pieces. So one well-respected media member, 28th out of 32. Another place says the biggest strength of the team, not just of the defense, the biggest strength of the team is the group that over here was ranked 28th. So what are you supposed to do with that? When you have both ends of the spectrum represented here, it tells you one very specific lesson. This group's got to prove it. We can talk about how good they are. We can talk about how great the upgrades were to this defense. The proof is going to be in the performance. It's one thing to win the offseason on paper. It's one thing to make your roster better on paper. But you want to prove these numbers wrong? You want to prove that this isn't the 28th group? Because I know most of you probably had the same reaction I did when I saw that today. You've got to be kidding me, right? Josh Sweat added to that defense, that front seven. You added Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell to an already existing group that had Darius Robinson and had some really nice depth pieces, but guys that shouldn't be starters. So you move those guys down the depth charts. You add Walter Nolan in the draft. You drafted Darius Robinson a year ago. Really? After all this overhaul, that's still only the 28th best group? Then I saw the ESPN story and I said, that's more like it. That's more like, we've used this word a couple times today, that's more in line with the vibes of the Cardinals offseason. But just like we said about the Arizona Diamondbacks, vibes don't matter. It's about what you do. It's about your performance. It's about whether or not you back it up. Because I say this defense is more improved. I say that this defensive line in particular is a better group. But Warren Sharp and his group putting them at 28, that's because they haven't done anything as a group yet. And even in the ESPN story that called it their biggest strength, what word did they use? Potential. There's no sample size to rest on. There's no tape that you can go back to with this group all performing together under the Jonathan Gannon umbrella and say, I think this group is their biggest strength because just look at the tape from a year ago. You can't do that yet. The proof is going to be in the pudding. So as angry as I was today, and as much I disagree with that ranking, you can't knock it too much because this group has proved nothing yet.
And listen, they struggled at run defense specifically up front. I like Josh Sweat. I think he's a great addition to this team. Does he make them a better run-stopping front?
No, that's not what he was brought here for. He was brought here to get after the quarterback.
You put faith in an old Calais Campbell and some young guys that you brought in. So I understand it from that perspective of, listen, they weren't great at stopping the run. We don't feel like they really addressed that this year. Do we think they could be better in 2 years? Sure. Do we think they're better for 2025, 2026 at stopping the run?
They got to prove it.
You got to prove it.
That's the question, right? We can say that the floor is better. We can say that we like the young pieces, learning under Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson, right? We can say all those things, and all of those things are true. But you got to go out there and prove it. Do I think, if you had to make me bet right now, if the Cardinals' defensive line at the end of the season, if we ran this poll again, would rank better than 28th among the 32 NFL teams? Yes. I think they would rank a lot higher. Where? I don't know. Because I do have some questions. And all of the questions lead back to one thing: proof. They've got to prove it. All of this is hypothetical right now. It's a really good hypothetical. It's a hypothetical that I think we all think is really possible. It's a hypothetical that as the offseason was playing out, we were getting on board and getting excited about. But it is a hypothetical still. They've got to go out there and prove it. So yes, great offseason. Yes, addressed all of those concerns. But they're not going to be fully addressed until we see it in action on Sundays and Thursdays and Mondays and whatever other days the Cardinals play on this season. The proof is going to be in the pudding. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, did we maybe get a glimpse of what the Suns might still be up to? A failed move might give us the answer. That's next, the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Forgot something inside or picking up food from the store? Never leave a child in a car. In Arizona, heat stroke can happen in seconds. Temperatures can rise 20 degrees in just 10 minutes, making a vehicle dangerously hot. Heat stroke can happen even in the shade or when it's below 60 degrees outside. Once you park, always remember to stop, look, and lock. Visit heatstroke.az.gov to learn more. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Lincoln Park. From Zero World Tour 2025.
You ready?
Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, September 6th. With special guest Gene Dawson. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit lincolnpark.com.
America. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By honoring your sacred vocation of business, you impact your family, your friends, and your community. At Grand Canyon University, our MBA degree program is 100% online, with emphases in business analytics and finance to help you reach your goals. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
With Whataburger's new Bigger, Better bundles, you can upgrade your favorite Whata meal into 2 meals. You can add a kid's Whata meal for $4 and take it home to your little you. Or you can add a double meat junior Whata meal for $5 and save it for later. For you. Or you can add a Whata Wings 9-piece for $6 and just enjoy that now. Yep, with Bigger, Better bundles, you can bring the kids along, or give it to your Uncle Mo, or stop by and surprise your coworkers. Upgrade your Whata meal with Bigger, Better bundles for a limited time, only at What Up Burger.
Hey, it's Big Cat from the Pardon My Take podcast. If you're looking for a drink that keeps the fun going without weighing you down, pick up some Truly Hard Seltzer. It's crazy refreshing, comes in tons of different flavors, and has only 100 calories per serving. Truly makes it easy to keep the fun going with your crew, which is exactly why it's the official hard seltzer of Pardon My Take. Whether you're out with friends, hosting a game day at home, or just kicking back, grab a Truly Hard Seltzer. Pick it up at your local Total Wine, Walmart, or Circle K, because there's always a lot of party left, Phoenix.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KTUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Buy or sell, the hottest takes in sports talk radio. Coming up in about 10 minutes from now, producer Evan will have that stuff for us. Many of us were wondering exactly what the plan would be for the Phoenix Suns after they bought out Bradley Beal and they were given this newly found cap space. They were under the luxury tax now. I was reading a story this morning. It was written last week. I just hadn't gotten around to reading it, by Brian Windhorst, that by the Suns making the move that they made to waive and stretch Bradley Beal, and again, I don't think it's official yet that they've done that, but that's what they're going to do, that they save $175 million in a tax bill for this season alone. You combine the tax money plus the salary that they save, it's $210 million that Mat Ishbia and the Phoenix Suns save for this season. Now, it's a sports franchise. I'm not going to care about $100 million for a billionaire owner. I get all of that. But when thinking about the reinvestment of that money down the road, you like the fact that they're saving it now in a year where they know everyone has admitted they're going to take a small step backwards. And so that when the time is right to go back in, they're going to have that money and not feel like they wasted some years where they did invest that money. So from that perspective, I'm a fan of the move that they get to save that tax bill, which then should allow them to reopen those floodgates down the road. But what are they going to do with this newfound space? Some wondered, even I wondered about this. Would they just take it easy for a year? They've got this newfound cap space. They're back under the luxury tax. They're back under both aprons. Maybe they just stay a while. They kick their feet up on the couch. They get a snack, a drink, and they just hang out. There's no rush to leave and move on to the next place. Why not just stay here in this moment for just a little bit? Allow your tax bill to reset. Allow things to get back on the right track, and maybe next year, dive back in. Others wondered if they would waive and stretch Bradley Beal because they had another big move in mind. Jonathan Kuminga is a name that we threw out last week because there were some links, some ties between the Suns and the Warriors in that regard. Is that why they made the move to free up the cap space? Because they had another big move in sight. Well, it was something that didn't go the Suns' way over the weekend, but perhaps are the breadcrumbs we need to answer that question. Because over the weekend, after agreeing to a buyout with the Washington Wizards, Marcus Smart signed a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka Doncic apparently played a major role in recruiting the defender extraordinaire Marcus Smart to the Lakers. But it was something that Shams said in a follow-up tweet that piqued my interest. He said after the signing, the Lakers, Phoenix Suns, and Milwaukee Bucks all seriously pursued Smart with positive conversations with personnel from all three teams after he and his agent received permission to explore options from the Wizards. Oh, so the Phoenix Suns, a franchise with some newly found cap space, with some newly found financial might, were not sitting idly by. They identified a player like Marcus Smart and said, you know what? That would make us a better basketball team. And by the way, producer Evan, is there a more Phoenix Sun basketball player for this new version of the Phoenix Suns, the way we know that Brian Gregory wants them to play, the way we know Jordan Ott wants them to play? Is there a player that embodies this culture more than Marcus Smart does? I mean, I saw it and I was like, of course they would be interested in Marcus Smart.
No, Marcus Smart is the typical, to a point, when you say he's the type of guy you love to have play for your team, but you hate playing against him. And isn't that the type of culture they're trying to build here?
Now.
And so it just feels perfect.
I will tell you, there was a brief, two moments happened. That was like, of course they would be interested in Marcus Smart. That was thought number one. And then you know what thought number two was? Another guard? Hi, we've got a log jam here, boys. How are we fixing this? We're going to add another guard to the mix? Because I don't know if Marcus Smart would be a primarily ball handler for the Phoenix Suns.
I don't know if you can make him a primary.
Right. So that lumps him with the Jalen Green, Devin Booker. We got a lot of two guards. How are we going to solve this problem? But again, a defensive-minded guy, and he's a 3-time all-defense first-team player. I mean, you don't get that title 3 times for just being an okay defender. You get that way by being an excellent defender. And we know the Phoenix Suns want to play better defense. Marcus Smart is great from an energy perspective. I'll piggyback off of what you said, producer Evan, somebody that you want playing for you, but you don't want to play against him. Yeah, because when stuff goes a little sideways and maybe things get a little chippy, I want Marcus Smart on my team. I want Marcus Smart battling for the Phoenix Suns. That's a benefit to my team. So perhaps a little bit of breadcrumbs that the Phoenix Suns are not done yet. They're not done tinkering. Now, maybe they just viewed Marcus Smart as a genuine opportunity that fell into their hands that they could have maybe capitalized on. Maybe they're not actively pursuing things and they're just seeing what shakes loose via buyouts, free agency, maybe a trade. Maybe they're being patient and they just felt like, hey, we love this guy. We're going to try to acquire him. And you lost out to the Lakers and Luka Doncic, and okay, so be it. But as Shams reported, positive conversations with the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns listed as one of the 3 teams. I thought that was telling. I thought that showed that the Phoenix Suns will not be done adding if they think they can make this team better. They are not going to sit back, kick the feet up. And yeah, it was only a 2-year, $11 million deal. But they're not that far under the luxury tax to where a move would keep them under, I believe. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think they're only like $2 or $3 million underneath the luxury tax. So this would have taken them right back over that, and they would have been a taxpayer going into this upcoming season. But again, they will pursue things that make this team better. And guess what? Marcus Smart would have made this team better. Would have been a move that I would have gotten on board with. A move that would have just made so much sense. And we joke, we play this all the time.
The alignment.
I will give Brian Gregory and the Phoenix Suns credit. Have they or have they not been incredibly consistent in the types of players that they have targeted all throughout this offseason?
No, they've been incredibly consistent, and they came in with a plan, and I'll give them credit. They have not veered off.
What Brian Gregory said he was going to do to this basketball team this offseason, they have done it. They have transformed this team to a team that more aligns with that vision, and they continue to do so. So, again, we joke. We play this all the time.
The alignment.
But they are truly acting like a group that is all on the same page, all making the right moves, and sticking to their plan. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, we close up hour number 1 on this, the Monday edition of the show. A little buy or sell. Producer Evan got 5 or 6 sports takes, usually sports takes. I don't know if there's anything random in there today. I will either buy or sell those takes when we come back. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, August 2nd. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. It's about to get heavy. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.com.
Remind you that swim safety starts with W. That's right, W, as in Water Watcher. Keep pool time a good time by designating an adult who can swim and know CPR. Be sure they avoid distractions, always scan the swimming area, and ensure that the pool gate stays locked. Assigning a Water Watcher is a simple step to help prevent drownings and keep everyone safe around pools. To get more water safety tips, visit srp.net/pool.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Learn and enroll is the way to go. Call 977-1900, 977-1900.
Summer Playfest has arrived at Harris Auction Casino. This summer, win your share of $600,000 in prizes with Caesars Rewards. Plus, join us as live bands light up the stage all season long. Then stay and play for less with our buy one, get one half-off hotel rates. So stay, play, and get rewarded all summer during Summer Playfest. Only at Harris Auction Casino. Play for all. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, wrapping up hour number 1 of the program. It's time for a little buy or sell. 5 takes today?
5 takes.
5 of the hottest takes in Sports Talk Radio. Producer Evan has them. I'm either buying or selling those takes. Take it away, my friend.
The D-backs could still be what last year's Tigers were. Sellers at the deadline. Sneak in, make an unexpected run.
This is how you are a good producer of a radio program, because you know that at 12:30 we are going to explore this exact thing. So you want me to kind of tease it here a little bit. You want me to get ahead of it and kind of give us a springboard for this conversation. I think you get into some real interesting territory when you try to carve out these little areas where you compare yourself to another team. And let's face it, folks, what the 2024 Tigers did last year was improbable. What the 2024 Tigers did last year is not a blueprint that I think if teams follow every year, they're going to have a great success rate. 1 out of every maybe 10 or 12 teams that tries this is going to work. Like, I think it's a 10% or less chance every year that if you were a team in this spot and you tried to follow the Tigers model, that it works out for you. So I get really scared when these are the teams that people invoke. Oh, just be them. Really? Because not even the 2024 Tigers thought they could be the 2024 Tigers.
It's also like saying be the Rays. Like, the Rays do an awesome job of staying relevant on a payroll that should never be relevant with their prospect system. Being the Rays is really hard.
I'm trying to think of some other examples of like teams that went on improbable runs, like the Washington Nationals a couple of years ago.
In 19.
What were they? 15, 20 games below 500?
Yeah, I think it was 12. Right?
Great. When a team gets to that point, I don't want to hear the announcer say, well, the Washington Nationals in 2019 did it. Really? How many other teams were in that spot and then they stunk the rest of the season? I don't like following that type of history. I don't like trying to be that much of an outlier. So do I think that they can do that? No. History is not on their side. The statistics aren't on their side. That's a tough thing to do. Sell.
The Cardinals are a top 15 roster in football.
ESPN had them ranked as the 17th best roster in a story that we referenced a little bit ago here on the program. Do I think they're a top 15 roster? Oh, top 15. I mean, I think any that range from like outside of the top 10 to like 18.
Once you get to like 12 to 18, it's so
you are splitting hairs and you can put them in any order, right? So I don't know. Sure, I'll be positive. I have not been very positive today on the program. I'll be positive and I'll say buy. They're a top 15 roster.
Building off that, the Cardinals have a chance to be one of the NFL's biggest surprises of the year.
Well, so this is interesting, right? Because classifying them as a surprise is based solely on how they are perceived by everybody ahead of the season. And so them being perceived as not a top half of the league roster, them being perceived as a defensive line that is ranked 28th, them being perceived as a team that's not going to hit their win total in Vegas. Yeah, if you go into the season thinking all of those things, then yes, I think you are going to be surprised by the Arizona Cardinals this season. If you are like us here on this program, who talk about how improved this defense is, talk about how the floor for the offense is raised, talk about how the schedule in the first half of the season sets up really nicely for the Arizona Cardinals, you have set the expectations high. Your level of surprise about the Cardinals is a direct reflection on what your individual expectations are for this team. I think they can win 10-plus games and make the playoffs. So no, the Cardinals will not have a surprising season in my mind in a positive way. They could have a surprising season in a negative way where they win 5 or 6 games and we're having a quarterback crisis in November and December.
They won't be surprising to me if they win 10 games when the playoffs are in competition to win the division. I would not surprise me. Do I think it would surprise the national media?
100%.
Yes.
1,000%. I agree.
And so I think that they are the one team that if you didn't live in this market, you wouldn't pay attention to. And so that, to me, means they could be an exciting, surprising team.
Yeah.
There are other teams that people like as the quote-unquote sleepers, and I just don't think that they're in a lot of people's conversations.
I would agree with that. I think many people would be surprised if the Cardinals do that. I know that just we won't on this program. I don't think anybody here in this market would be surprised if they do that. They wouldn't be surprised if they go 9-8, they go 7-10. There's a range of outcomes here. I think anywhere from 7 to 11 wins is in the bucket of outcomes for the Cardinals. So none of those buckets, none of those outcomes would surprise me. You lose 5 games, that would surprise me. You win 14 games? Yeah, I would be pleasantly surprised if they did that. So if I'm basing this off of the way the national media looks at them right now, I will buy that they will be a surprise, yes. Personally, though, them making the playoffs would not be surprising to me at all.
The Suns are putting culture over talent right now when attacking their offseason.
Culture over talent. Oh, I don't know about that. That feels pretty strong, right? Is there a player that they haven't gone after who was more talented than a player that they brought in because they emphasize the culture over the talent? I don't know if we have a prime example of that. Has there been a heavy emphasis on culture? You betcha. Of course, as there should have been. You had a team last year that did not have a culture. Now, I understand that Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant may respond to me when I say this, right? I may get tweets from Kevin Durant about this.
Listen, they're social media guys.
I mean, Bradley Beal gave us all the peace signs. So I understand the can of worms that I'm opening here. They did not have a culture. They did not have a winning culture last year. They didn't have a full buy-in of committing to be better at both ends of the floor. They're completely reworking that this year. But do I think I can point to a time where the Kevin Durant trade, did they prioritize the Houston package over another package because they liked the culture fits of Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks? No, I think they took what they thought was the best package, but also fit what they were trying to do. I think the additions of the guys they took in the draft, is there a player that they left on the board that was more talented because they prioritized culture? I don't know if there's a clear-cut example of that. So I'll sell this take. But they have put an emphasis on culture, which, again, was the correct thing to do.
I think that conversation comes up after the Marcus Smart conversation and some of the additions they've made. There will be at least one big surprise trade in Major League Baseball as the deadline approaches. Surprise trades. Like, I would be surprised if Jaren Duran gets traded.
I mean, they did trade Rafael Devers. I know that was a unique scenario, but would Mason Miller be a surprise?
I think Mason Miller would be a surprise. He's got 3 years of team control.
I think there's going to be a team that does it. I think there's going to be a team that meets the asking price.
Do you?
I do. I don't know why.
I think you need a team that's, give you an example, a team like the Phillies who feels like they're on their kind of their last legs of a run. They're getting older. Put all your chips in the middle. I think that's what it is. I think had the D-backs really going on a big run, I think they would have been a team to kind of push your chips on the middle on Mason Miller. You need a roster kind of built like that.
You don't think the Dodgers would dip in and add another arm if they wanted to and make that move for Mason
They could
Miller?
do that.
Right? I mean, there are enough candidates. So I don't think Paul Skeens goes. I know that one would be another big marquee one. Mason Miller's the name that I'm keeping an eye on, though. Emmanuel Clase, and I think it's going to be a reliever. I think a big reliever gets moved.
Doesn't it feel like there's more rumors about some of the bigger names under multiple years than ever?
Yeah, because you get so many buyers, and those buyers want to be very careful with what they give up. So if they're going to take that swing, they want it to be a big one. They want it to be a big one. Yeah. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Eugenio Suarez, the dude just keeps crushing the baseball. What are the Diamondbacks going to do? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
The Mazda More to Move You sales event is going on now at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, receive 1.9% financing for up to 60 months on the brand new 2025 Mazda CX-50 or CX-50 Hybrid.
Or receive $10,000 off the top of MSRP when you lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-70 or CX-90 plug-in hybrid. Think of how low your payment will be with those savings. Go to markmazdascottsdale.com.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda, on approved credit plus $998.50.
The Offspring. Supercharged worldwide in 25. One unforgettable summer night. The Offspring, live in Phoenix. With special guests, Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory. Playing Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater August 27th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 great bands. 1 incredible show. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Phoenix. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
How about we get some pizza?
Nah.
Sushi?
No.
I thought you didn't care.
I don't.
Slow cooked.
How did they get in our car?
I don't know, but we're going to Del.
Del Taco's new slow-cooked pork carnitas. Authentic spices and salsa roja give it a rich, deep, melt-in-your-mouth flavor. Pork carnitas are here for a limited time, so get some tender, juicy Del Taco today.
Del, yeah. This is Desert Diamond West Valley, where there's next-level action and jackpot-winning smiles all around. So get your shine on, light up the room, show us what it's all about. It's the $250,000 Heat is Rising Thursdays in July, 3 to 7 p.m. 2 hourly winners take home red hot cash from $1,000 up to $250,000. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino West Valley.
An enterprise of the Donna Organization.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break. You're on KDUS AM 1060. The Diamondbacks. A sweep over the weekend of the St. Louis Cardinals, confusing us all. What isn't confusing us all is the season that Eugenio Suarez is having. Up to 35 home runs after a couple more over the weekend. 4 home runs in his last 3 games. 9 home runs in 16 games in the month of July. He's got 85 RBIs. He's got a 928 OPS. That's good for 7th in all of baseball. Eugenio Suarez has been outstanding this season. And every time he crushes a baseball, I just think to myself that his value keeps going up. Every time he crushes one of his 35 home runs that he has hit this season. That's good for 3rd in baseball. The only 2 guys who have hit more home runs than Eugenio Suarez this season, the 2 AL MVP candidates, Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. So Eugenio Suarez leading the National League with 35 home runs. His 85 RBIs, better than the AL MVP candidates in Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. That OPS that we mentioned at 928. Only 4 hitters in the National League better than Eugenio Suarez. He just continues to crush the baseball. A little bit of a dilemma for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You sweep the Cardinals over the weekend. You get back to 500. There are many people that want to slam on the brakes on this idea of making trades over the next 10 days, this idea of trading Eugenio Suarez ahead of the deadline, right? People want to slam the brakes because they're winning, they're playing well. Eugenio Suarez is a big part of that. I cannot forego what is right for my organization, both in the short and the long term, because of a couple of good games. The right thing for the Arizona Diamondbacks to do is to trade Eugenio Suarez ahead of this deadline. Everybody out there wants, and we'll touch on this a little bit later, everybody wants the Arizona Diamondbacks to be the 2024 Detroit Tigers. If you follow that mold, if you follow that path, you're trading Eugenio Suarez over the next 10 days. You are not keeping Eugenio Suarez and rolling the dice. Do you know what makes this easier for me to trade Eugenio Suarez over the next 10 days, even though he's hitting 35 home runs, even though he's got 85 RBIs, even though he's got a 928 OPS? Do you know what makes this easier than, let's say, trading a Merrill Kelly or Zach Allen, or trading a Josh Naylor, or trading one of my bullpen arms? Do you know what makes it easier for me to swallow that pill of trading the best offensive player that the Diamondbacks have, trading the most high-profile bat that is available this trade deadline? Do you know what makes it easier? Jordan Lawler makes it easier. Now, I know Jordan Lawler hasn't proven us a thing at the big league level, but he is still a top prospect for a reason. They don't have a top prospect sitting there waiting to take over for Josh Naylor at first base. They don't have 5, 6, 7 pitching prospects sitting down there ready to take Merrill Kelly and or Zach Allen's spot in the rotation for the rest of this year and for 2026. They don't have a bunch of relief pitching options down there in the minors that can just take over if they traded Jalen Beeks or Shelby Miller if he comes back in time before the deadline, or Ryan Thompson, or wherever they trade before the deadline, if they traded a reliever. They don't have guys ready to go. They do have somebody ready to go at third base. That makes it easier. Do you know what also makes it easier for me to not waver and trading Eugenio Suarez ahead of this deadline? This is the most sought-after bat this trade deadline. There is not a bat that you're going to get more calls about. There is not a bat that is going to generate the buzz that Eugenio Suarez is going to generate. You are going to have a full-blown bidding war. You are going to get more for Eugenio Suarez than the compensatory pick that you got back if you gave him a qualifying offer at the end of the season. You have big market teams like the Yankees, like the Cubs, that could be interested in adding a bat. The Seattle Mariners may push the chips into the middle and make a reunion. I saw there was a story on The Athletic this morning, one bold prediction for all of the teams ahead of the deadline, and their bold prediction for the Mariners was that Jerry DiPoto gets a Eugenio Suarez reunion. There are teams that will be willing to push their chips in the middle to add Eugenio Suarez. The one piece that I would absolutely trade if I'm the Arizona Diamondbacks ahead of the deadline is Eugenio Suarez, because he is the one piece that I think I can guarantee would get you more than the compensatory pick that you would get at the end of the season.
I know exactly what I'm going to get out of Eugenio Suarez. I know almost to a T what is going to happen at this deadline. You have the best bat available. It's not hard to look back at last year, the year before that, and say, what are the number one bat available, Garner, at the deadline? And then look at this year and say, hey, doesn't it feel like there's more buyers and more buyers that need bats this year than ever? Imagine we didn't get a Kevin Durant bidding war. I would stand 10 toes down and tell you I am confident. You can play it. Both feet on the ground, stand by what I said, that there will be a bidding war on Eugenio Suarez.
What do we think the best trade was last year for a bat? Because I have up right now, because you've put this thought into my head. I have the 2024 trade deadline up in front of me. And I'm going through and I'm looking at all of these. A lot of pitching moves, by the way, is my early scroll through this. But who was the best name moved at the deadline? I'm scrolling through, and I have not found one that is even worthy of bringing up. I mean, the Diamondbacks got Josh Bell, who was awesome for them once they traded for him. It was a player to be named later, or cash at the time. So that wasn't a big move. I can't find a move in scrolling through this. The Braves getting Jorge Soler back. He wasn't playing well that year. Is that the biggest bat that was moved? Is there a bat that I'm missing? I'm going to go through this, and I'm sure there's going to be a name. The Mariners getting Justin Turner from the Blue Jays. He was hitting .254 with 6 homers and a .720 OPS at the time. And they got a top 30 prospect from the Mariners for him. Is it the Tommy Edman trade that the Dodgers pulled off?
I know it sounds crazy. It might be the Tommy Edman trade.
Is it the Cubs getting Isaac Paredes for Christopher Morel and 2 prospects?
That was a weird deal.
That's big leaguer for big leaguer. So that's not an apples to apples comparison. The Mets got Jesse Winker. That doesn't fall into that category. I mean, there's just nothing on this list that would even be close. I mean, the Mariners got Randy Arozarena on July 26th. They traded a top 12 prospect, a top 22 prospect, and a player to be named later. I mean, Eugenio Suarez, let me look at the time. At the time that Randy Arozarena was traded from the Rays to the Mariners, he had an OPS of 947 since June 15th at the time, and he had a career-low 211 average. He had 7 homers, so they were hoping for a bounce back. They didn't trade him at peak value. You are trading Eugenio Suarez at peak value. You are trading Eugenio Suarez when he's got more home runs than every other National League player. He has more RBIs than every other player in baseball. He has a top 10 OPS. This is one of the best bats available in the deadline. This is also one of the best bats in baseball this season, period. Let me go back to my stats wall over here. Here are the other players that are near Eugenio Suarez in home runs. Cal Raleigh, Seattle's not trading him. Aaron Judge, Yankees aren't trading him. Ohtani's right behind Suarez. He's not getting traded. Schwarber, Seiya Suzuki, Pete Crow Armstrong, Riley Green, Junior Caminero, Juan Soto, James Wood. That's the top 10. All players that are institutional players for their respective franchises.
I'm going back. Now I'm at 2022, looking at every player traded at the deadline. I can't find a hitter at that time that would garner the same interest that Eugenio Suarez would.
We'd have to do the research and really dive into it and look back over the last couple of years. But just doing it on the air, looking at last year's deadline, there's not a move. There's not a move that comes even close. Now, I know he's a rental. You're getting him for 2 months.
I mean, if in my head, you have to go back to when the Diamondbacks added J.D. Martinez to get a bat of that caliber at the trade deadline. Nick Castellanos in 2019 when he goes to Chicago. Like, those are the type of deals that we're talking about, like blockbusters that they're going to get for Eugenio Suarez.
Right. Now what did the Diamondbacks give up to get J.D. Martinez? What did the Cubs give up for Castellanos? Like, let's just use those two as a comparison. What type of prospect did those teams give up? What did those teams get back? If we're looking at it from the team that traded the star player, did they get back a top 15 prospect? Did they get back a top 20 prospect? You seem like you had something.
Detroit acquired Dewell Lugo.
Okay.
Sergio Alcantara.
Okay.
And Jose King.
So at the time, you're looking at the Nick Castellanos trade, right? So
I am currently looking at the Nick Castellanos trade, and I will tell you, they traded. Lugo was the Diamondbacks' 4th overall prospect at the trade. Alcantara checked in at 15, and King was 30.
So it traded 2 top 15 prospects.
You traded 3 prospects within the top 30 of your system.
For, I believe, what was a rental at the time, no?
A 1-year J.D. Martinez, who was hitting 305, 388, 630 with 16 homers that year.
A rental.
in the final year of a two-year contract.
So, yeah, I mean, to me, Eugenio Suarez is going to allow the Diamondbacks to basically name their price. And to me, even if you didn't want to sell everywhere else, you wanted to hold on to Gowan and Kelly, you wanted to hold on to Naylor because you just don't think you're going to get the better value, I still think you're trading Suarez because, one, Suarez is going to bring back the most out of anybody that you trade. And two, you want to be the 2024 Tigers? I mean, this is what happens, right? Lawler gets healthy, you call him up, you give him run, you let him play every day, and maybe your offense can get hot.
And then July 31st, 2019, Nick Castellanos traded to the Chicago Cubs in return for Alex Lang and Paul Ricken. Kind of crazy. The Tigers are awesome, and all these trades were not that long ago. I have not heard of a single prospect.
No, none of them have
turned out.
Have turned out. Yeah. So they traded Alex Lange was a first-round pick in 2017. Was a top prospect in the Cubs system at the time. I vaguely remember this trade. So here, I'm going to MLB.com. 2 right-handed prospects for him. Let's see if MLB.com has where these prospects were ranked. They should, if I scroll here long enough. Hello, please, thank you. So they traded a top 16 prospect. So the one right-hander was their 16th ranked prospect. And then where was Lange? Where was he? He was a first-round pick out of 2017. He was 23rd. So they traded 2 prospects outside of their top 15 for Castellanos. So, again, you're going to get 2 prospects, 1 really good prospect probably for Eugenio Suarez. And, again, there's also, if the Yankees are involved, there's a Yankees tax. Oh, you're the Yankees? All right, it's going to cost you more. It's just kind of how it works in baseball sometimes. Oh, you're a big market team? It's going to cost you a little more. So, again, I think no matter what, even though he keeps hitting home runs, we had a birthday party for my daughter yesterday. I had a bunch of people over, and we had the Diamondbacks game on, and he hit a couple home runs yesterday. And every time he hit a home run, people know what I do. So they looked at me, and I said, just keep increasing that value. Like that is still the way I look at this baseball team. Just keep increasing that value. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Brian from Chandler over there says, at 33 years old, I now agree you have to move Suarez, sell high. At only 28, I say you re-sign Naylor. Big market teams would. Now, yes, the other factor in this is that Eugenio Suarez is an older player, right? Is Eugenio Suarez part of the 27, 28, 29 Diamondbacks, this window that you're trying to create for yourself? No. So you... sell high on a player like that. That's why I would try to sell high on a player like Merrill Kelly, who's older. I don't know if he's part of my future plan. So if I can get something for him, there is value in that. John says Del Castillo was a nice surprise over the weekend, and Carroll with 4 triples. Days off helped him except for the 3 strikeouts on Friday. I shared a stat with producer Evan in the pre-show meeting that there's only one player in baseball history who has had a season in which they've hit 4 multi-homer games and a season in which they've had 3 multi-triple games. Corbin Carroll is that player. He's done both of those feats this season. There's no player other than Corbin Carroll in history who's done it in 2 separate seasons. He's done those things in the same season. He has at least 4 multi-homer games this year, and he has at least 3 multi-triple games this season. He has been absolutely outstanding. A return to form in every way possible for Corbin Carroll. And it's unfortunate that it is coming during a year where this team is 50-50 and they're at 500. If before the season I would have given you the stats on Corbin Carroll's season, you would not have predicted a 50-50 ball club. You would have predicted a team that would be buying at the deadline. Coming up on the other side of the break, have we been getting more proof that Mat Ishbia is starting to get it, or is it just more lip service? That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
We watch these lawyers get on TV and say they're going to treat their clients like family when we know they put secret mandatory quotas on their lawyers. That means your own lawyer pressures you into a premature, terrible result. Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. We don't set settlement quotas. We measure success by achieving each client's best outcome and by each client's happiness.
Do your research after a serious injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're shopping for an engagement ring, we want you to feel like a kid in a candy store. All of our diamonds are in stock, in-store and online, so you get to use your eyes, not your imagination. Come in and look at marquee-shaped diamonds right next to ovals and pears. As your friend and jeweler, you can trust you'll get your dream diamond at an everyday competitive price. We have the widest selection in-store and at shaneco.com, because a friend knows choosing a diamond is personal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. It was a clinic at Port Rush this weekend, and the man behind the spectacle was none other than Scotty Scheffler. But now we know the routine. He drives like a machine, hits irons like a surgeon, and then finds himself in contention almost every weekend. That's what happens when you're the best tee to green player on the planet. But the one thing that's held him back, the putter. Not this time. He went 59 of 63 from inside 10 feet over 4 days at the British Open. That's not just solid, terrifying. When a guy dominating in every other aspect of the game suddenly finds his confidence, that's Tiger-like. Yet another reminder that in a sport where most guys peak in waves, Scheffler keeps rolling. Smooth, steady, relentless. You want to beat Scotty Scheffler? You better bring more than your A game. And you better hope that he misplaces his putter, because when he's rolling like this, it's checkmate on the golf course. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Maaco can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Maaco, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Maaco does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Maaco's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Maaco.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Maaco, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Maaco.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
I'm being asked over on the KTUS AM 1060 YouTube channel how the run training went over the weekend. Talking about how nice the weather was. Did rain a little bit yesterday. We did not run over the weekend. I believe where we left things off, in fairness to me, that we said that because I missed the one day, that in order to keep things balanced, that we would be back on track starting this week. So my first run, I have the app open in front of me because I'm prepared for this. Our first run, my first run is scheduled for this evening. I didn't have that on the bingo card. I thought it was going to be Tuesday, Thursday, but it's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. I'll be out there tonight. I'll be out there running. It won't be the daily special tomorrow, but we'll bring it up. The run will be there. Don't you worry. It's only 1.4 miles. 5-minute walking warm up.
You're good.
Tonight, it's happening.
But it has to happen tonight.
Oh, I mean, if it doesn't happen tonight, I don't.
People are going to be asking questions.
Of course. You should question everything if it doesn't happen tonight. Now, I already know that there are going to be people out there that won't believe me when I say that I have done it, but we are going to, yes, the run will occur tonight. Probably 8:30 tonight. Sun's down. It's a little cooler outside. I'll get my exercise in before bed. I would prefer to run in the morning. So if I would have seen that the first run was scheduled for today instead of tomorrow, I would have done it this morning. I would love to start my day 5:30, get up, get that run in, and then start the rest of the day. Ending the day on the run is tough. So we'll probably get to the run on Wednesday's run will probably be in the morning.
Listen, you got a good week here to run. Today, only high 97. Wednesday, high of 99. And Saturday, 106.
Now, not that it's going to stop.
Not bad.
It's not going to stop me unless there's like thunder and lightning outside. But I did hear a rumor of some rain today. Doesn't look like it.
I'm not seeing any
No,
rain.
I just checked my app as well. I think we're okay. So then, yeah, we'll be out there today.
A light drizzle can't stop you.
No. Like I said, a light drizzle won't stop me. It was when the thunder and lightning was out that's what stopped me. And I think that's reasonable. I think that's incredibly reasonable. But no, the run has not happened yet. The run will happen. This is all leading up to, this is all leading up to a 5K or a 10K or a half or a full marathon. One of the four.
I love the options here. This is leading up to either a 5K or a marathon.
Right. But depending on how my training goes and depending on the way the schedule breaks. Okay, let's do this here. Well, I'll talk about Mat Ishbia here in a second. I want to run some type of marathon before the end of the year. I'm not going to go in cold turkey. That's going to be a disaster.
When you say some sort of marathon, is a 5K count for you?
A 5K counts for me. I've never done anything like that in my life. So I want to check that box. Now, mind you, if I did a 5K, right? If this year the only thing I did was a 5K, the next year it would be a 10K. I would scale it up.
I think that's the best way to do it. I just think that you're saying I'm training for a 5K or a marathon.
Let me explain myself.
A dramatic change.
But let me explain myself because the plan that I'm on is over a couple of weeks, right? Well, when that plan is done and the app tells me you're ready to run a 5K, if there's not a 5K on the calendar, but there is a 10K and it fits in, then we'll keep the training going and then we'll do the 10K instead. I don't want to limit myself.
I think you should have found the 5K first.
I probably should have done more research and picked one out, or I should have done the one that everyone told me to do that I missed the sign up for. Yes. I had some people suggest.
Next year, got an idea for the show. You ready? Next year, lunch break at Pat's Run.
We'll just participate and we'll do it together as a group. Maybe we'll put that on the big board of ideas for next year. But I'm going to do this before the end of the year. I promise. And I will take the picture. We'll go up on social media of me at the end of the finish line with the bib that you get with your name on it or whatever, with your number or whatever. We will have that picture by the end of the year.
Love it.
Nobody believes me. Nobody believes me at all. Just like maybe some of you out there don't believe Mat Ishbia when he says that he's changed, when he says that things are different, when he says that the Suns are going in a different direction. Well, he was on Sirius XM radio last week and kind of talked about his process and how when he bought the team that he just thought all this team needed was resources, specifically financial resources, going over the salary cap, going over the luxury tax, not allowing that to be an excuse for why this team couldn't compete. And so that's what he did. They hired championship level coaches. They brought in championship level players, spent money, threw that at the problem, and it didn't work. And then he said something that I thought was very interesting. Quote, I decided that's not how I want to do it. We're going to go in a different way. We're going to go and build it in the right way from the beginning. And it might not happen in a year. It might take a couple of years. But we also have a franchise player in Devin Booker, so we have a head start on most, end quote. Did you catch that in the middle? Did you catch that phrase that was very important? It might not happen in a year. It might take a couple years. Is that the first time that Mat Ishbia has admitted that perhaps he is in more of a rebuild than he thought he would be? Is this the first admission that, yes, we are going to take some small steps backwards? Because while we were promised change, and while we were promised a different group, different decision makers, a different coach, different players, we were promised all of that in the sake of
the alignment.
We were promised those things. All of it was under the guise that this team was going to try to compete right away. There were thoughts that they were going to prioritize in a Kevin Durant trade getting players back that could help them right away. They don't have their draft picks over the next couple of years. Tanking would be a stupid thing for this team to do. Let's just be honest. This team tanking would be dumb. They don't have their first-round picks. What does tanking get them other than the teams that have their first-round picks having a great lottery ticket? You don't have anything. You don't benefit from the tanking. So trying to win is kind of the right thing to do, even though we know that it's going to take them a little bit. But there was Mat Ishbia admitting, might take a couple years, and that's okay because we're going to do it in a different way. He was then asked about Devin Booker's future and if there's pressure in order to win. Quote, last year, it was not as fun as a lot of people would have liked. It was not as entertaining. It was not energetic. We might not win every game this season, but we're going to play hard and compete, end quote. This organization, every single chance they've gotten this offseason has been consistent in their messaging. Consistent in their messaging. They've never wavered on what this year was going to be. They have never wavered in the overhaul that was going to occur. So if I had to put Mat Ishbia's comments into one bucket, him turning over a new leaf, being a different person, or this just being us, him telling us what we want to hear in order to make us happy, in order to make us be quiet, if that's what Mat Ishbia was doing here, if he was just telling us what he wanted to hear, he would slip up at one point. Somebody would slip up. There would be a breadcrumb somewhere that told us that he actually hasn't learned a thing. Everything that this organization has done this offseason, everything has pointed us in a direction that they have reevaluated. Now, will all the Michigan State connections and all of that stuff work out? I don't know. I'm skeptical. Consider me a pessimist when it comes to that. But their messaging, their actions off of that messaging are all in purpose of one very specific goal. This is going to be a different Phoenix Suns basketball team. And we are going to get a different Phoenix Suns basketball team. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, the 2024 Detroit Tigers. Could the Diamondbacks take a page from their book? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same-game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. T&Cs apply.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025, live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. with special guest Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearth, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. You know, most pest control companies use the same products we do. That's not the difference. But what is the difference is how we treat people. At Moxie, kindness counts, and it shows in every visit, every conversation, and every one of the 6,500 plus 5-star Google reviews our customers have written. Our field experts aren't just trained to handle pests. They're trained to treat your home, your family, your pets, and your time with the kind of respect you deserve. And our services come with a pest-free guarantee. Our methods and service just work better because our people are better. So if you want a pest control company you can trust in and around your home, give us a call. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
I will not try to reinvent the wheel. I will not try to say it better than the way Ken Rosenthal presented it today in his morning column over at The Athletic. Quote, "A weekend sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals was encouraging, but no matter where the Arizona Diamondbacks are in the standings on July 31st, they will need to trade at least some of their veterans on expiring contracts. Otherwise, 2026 might end up a lost season," end quote. You can't put it any better than that. I'm done worrying about 2025. I'm done worrying about this team making any type of noise. Because let's face it, everybody, let's say this team doesn't sell at the deadline. They make a small addition to their bullpen, and they try to roll the dice in August and September. I know people are going to throw 2023 in my face and say, oh, they can get in and they can go on a run. Really? They're going to go on a run in this National League? Producer Evan, I hate to put you on the spot, but can you do me a favor? Can you look up the 2023 MLB standings at the end? And can you just give me the records? I'll filibuster for you while you pull it up. But I just want to compare where baseball was in 2023 when the Diamondbacks went on their run to the World Series and compare it to the state of play in the National League in 2025. Please, yes.
Atlanta was the best team in the National League with 104 wins, 104-58.
Okay.
The Dodgers won 100 games, 162. Milwaukee won the Central, 92-70. The wild card was as follows in 23. Phillies were the top team in the wild card, 90-72. Miami sneaks in at 84-78. And the 7th seed, the Arizona Diamondbacks, also 84-78. The teams that just finished outside, Chicago, 83-79, a game behind. Cincinnati, 82-80, 2 games back.
One wild card team with 90 wins, correct?
Correct.
One
wild card team with 90 wins.
The Milwaukee Brewers have the top wild card spot. They're 59-40. The Mets are in the second wild card spot. They're at 56-44. The Padres have the third wild card spot at 54-45. Now, okay. All right, everybody. I'll do it.
I'm a huge nerd.
I'll go over to Fangraphs.com and I'll look at what the projected records are for all of these teams, because I guarantee you that we've got some teams that are projected to make the playoffs that are projected to win 90 games. You're going to have more than just one team at 90 games, 90 wins, make the playoffs. So here we go. Fangraph projections for the wild card. They have right now the Cubs projected to be one of the wild card teams. They're projected to finish with 92.6 wins. The Brewers projected to also be a wild card team. Now, we know that that's not going to work that way. One of those teams is going to win the division, but they're projected to win 91 games. They have the Mets projected at 89.4 wins. You may have two teams that win over 90 games make the wild card. Let's talk about the division. You said you had two teams over 100 wins. Is that correct?
Two teams, 104 Atlanta, 100 for the Dodgers.
Now, I don't know if we'll get to 100 wins. The Dodgers may be able to get there. One of the Cubs or Brewers might be able to get there if they beat up on the rest of the Central. I don't think a team in the NL East is going to get to 100, but okay. A more deeper National League than when they made it in 2023. The point being is stop thinking that they can recreate 2023 and start understanding what 2023 was. It was a lucky run. Now, it was a lucky run that they turned into a very competitive window. 2024, they battled till the last possible day. They then parlayed that into the highest payroll that they have ever had in the history of the sport. It didn't work. It's okay. Don't let 2026 go because you are trying to pursue 2025. Because as Rosenthal points out in the story, Merrill Kelly might be gone. Josh Naylor might be gone. Suarez might be gone. Gallen might be gone. All of those guys could get the one-year qualifying offer. All of those guys may be able to get a compensatory pick back for Mike Hazen and the Arizona Diamondbacks. But how about this? Quote, while the picks would be fine, they would not help the Diamondbacks next season. Kelly and Suarez in particular feel strongly about their ties to Arizona and could resign, but at the very least, the possibility of all four potential free agents receiving a guarantee in excess of the qualifying offer amount would be very real. The compensatory picks do not help the Diamondbacks in 2026. You choose to go down that path, you are giving up on 2026. And oh, by the way, you want to be the Detroit Tigers? This is what Ken had to say about that. Quote, the Tigers sold at last year's deadline, then relied on Tariq Skubal and pitching chaos to secure an improbable postseason berth. The Diamondbacks would rely on their dynamic offense to make the same kind of charge. With expanded playoffs, teams can dream. For the Diamondbacks, though, it can't just be about 2025. It's about 2026, too.
And I want to talk about Detroit last year.
Okay.
They had one piece to sell.
Jack Flaherty.
They sold him.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good return. You got a top 8 prospect in the Dodgers system and a top 22 prospect in the Dodgers system. Then you went out and did the Aroldis Chapman. You went out and brought Jack back, which is awesome and funny. But that's what they did. They sold their piece that they knew they had to sell. They understood their window. Even if they make a run, their window wasn't last year. It's young talent. And getting into the playoffs allowed their young talent to get playoff experience.
Yep.
And now you move Flaherty. He did the end-all be-all, won the World Series and came back. And you're in a position where you've bettered your roster this year. You can use the prospects that you bought last year that you sold Flaherty for last year. Now you can buy at the deadline with those same pieces that you moved last year. You have set yourself in a position to not only be better in 2026 this year, 2025, but 2026 and 2027.
Do you know, in order to be the 2024 Tigers, you know what you have to do at the deadline? You have to be a seller. Because that's what the 2024 Tigers did. They sold. Now, yes, they only had one piece to sell in Jack Flaherty, and that piece they did move. But guess what? What is the difference between the Tigers doing with Jack Flaherty, what we all want the Diamondbacks to do with Eugenio Suarez? And again, unlike with Flaherty, the Diamondbacks, there's an option internally ready to go. Look at the Tigers roster this year. All of those guys were there last year. All of those guys got that experience of going on that run. Now, again, I'm going to rehash what I said in buy or sell. I would stop trying to emulate outliers of outliers. And the 2024 Tigers were outliers of outliers going on that improbable run, using openers basically every day towards the back. I mean, AJ Hinch was managing every game in August and September like it was a playoff game.
That is, and I will stand by this, that is the greatest performance by a manager I have ever seen over that span.
I mean, he did not have 5 starters that he could go to every day. He was using openers, was going to his bullpen. I mean, it was a managerial masterclass, what he did over those 2 months, and they just kept finding ways to win. That's not repeatable because they used their pitching to get there. They got dominant starters from guys like Tariq Skubal. They then got great outings from all of their bullpen. Just let me poll the room here real quick. Do we trust the Diamondbacks bullpen to be able to hold down a lead for this team? Do we trust the bullpen to be a strength for this team? Now, as Ken mentioned in the piece, they would need their offense to do that. Well, you're trading Eugenio Suarez, who would be one of your better pieces. And you would be trusting Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll and everybody else to carry the load here. Don't try to be something that was an outlier of an outlier. Evaluate your team. Look at where they're at. They're 50-50. Great sweep over the weekend. Still 4 teams in front of them. This is not 2023. 84 wins ain't getting you to the dance. Not happening. The Diamondbacks do not have the gas in the tank to be able to pull this off. So I'm unwavering. This team still needs to be a seller at the deadline. I think it starts with Eugenio Suarez and it flows downward. If a team meets the price for Mel Kelly, do it. If they don't, then okay. Then you can hold on to them and get the compensatory pick. Because then you at least get something, right? Josh Naylor, if they can't meet that value, fine, hold on to him, get the compensatory pick. I'm good with that. But Eugenio Suarez is going to get you more because he is the top bat available to everybody this offseason. Everybody. John says over on the YouTube chat, just getting players doesn't make them better. The promise is there, but those players still have to produce. If not, we will talk like this in 2026. Fair. Fair enough. It's not just about who you bring in. It's about how they perform. It's about how you put a roster together. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. One more before we get out of here. It's the leftovers. All the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring Me the Horizon, USA Ascension Program, Part 1.
Every sky will build, my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring Me the Horizon, presented by the Big Red Radio.
Geico knows there's a home you and a road you. Right now you're hearing home you. He's not in an RV. He's at home, watching the great outdoors on TV.
For the lone gazelle, there sadly is no escape.
Meanwhile, road you always has an escape in an RV covered with Geico's added 24/7 emergency roadside service, so he can explore more of the great outdoors in real life. Except maybe the ravine where the gazelle got stuck. Road you should avoid that. For more road you time, get more with Geico.
It starts with a simple order.
A cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back to wrap up this edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. It's the leftovers. All the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. They are brought to us from producer Evan. What do you got today on a Monday, producer Evan?
A lot of stuff, and I don't want to sit here and toot my horn again.
Okay.
But I did invoke Scotty Scheffler's name, and he did win the Open Championship.
I mean,
he is, and obviously everybody should take Scotty every week, but he's the most dominant athlete in his sport or field right now across all the sports.
He's dominant. He wins all the time. I don't think you should take a victory lap for picking the greatest golfer in this generation.
Kind of kidding about that.
I sure hope so, because I could have picked Scotty Scheffler, and I don't do the golf picks here on the program. I mean, it's dominance right now. And I think Rory said it afterwards that, nobody can catch him. Like, nobody is on his level when he's playing like this. Like, nobody. And he played great on Thursday despite not hitting a bunch of fairways, right? I think he only hit 3 fairways on Thursday and still was in the mix.
I mean, what's so impressive is we know what he is tee to green, right? He's gets off the tee almost better than everybody. His iron play is dialed in. Where he lacks is the putter. He was unbelievable with the putter this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's
hard to beat.
Hard to beat when you have a ball striker the way Scotty is, putting the way that Scotty putted over the weekend. And now that's 3 of the 4, I believe, in the career Grand Slam.
Yeah.
He's missing
the U.S. Open.
Missing the U.S. Open.
Is 2 Masters, a PGA Championship, and now
the Open.
The Open. By the way, visually, I love watching the Open. Love a good links golf on the TV. Hate that I have to wake up real early. Love how it looks visually.
I don't have anything to add to that. I'm happy
you don't,
for you.
It's like, for me, it sits in the same realm as like a really cold playoff game in the NFL.
I just want you to know that I knew this was going to happen, but Brian is pointing out that you did make your picks after the tournament had started.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a knock against you. We tried to help you out by doing it in the Open to Thursday show, like after things got started.
Mm-hmm.
But you made your picks after the tournament had begun.
I got him at plus 275
right
at that moment.
So you're happy. You were happy regardless.
Happy Shark Week, by the way.
All right.
Are you a fan of Shark Week? I can already tell you hate Shark Week.
No. Let's just back up a second. I liked originally what Shark Week was. Okay? And then too many people got on board with it. It went too mainstream, and now it's just gone way over the top. It's too much. Give me old Shark Week back, where it's under the radar. You only really know about it if you watch the Discovery Channel quite a bit, and then you know it's Shark Week, and you get the cool shows. Now it's every day. There's celebrity tie-ins. It's gone too mainstream.
There's celebrity tie-ins these days?
Yeah.
I remember.
I think The Rock hosted Shark Week once.
I had to be in middle school.
Oh, that's it. That's the comment of the day. Brian says Shark Week jumped the shark. Exactly. We had something great. We ruined it.
I think I was in middle school when they did a Megalodon episode, and it had me enthralled. I was like this thing's real. This thing is real. And then it came out 2 days later. It was fake. You want to talk about devastation of a 12 to 13-year-old, Devin?
Just ruined it for you.
Ruined it. And I'll be honest, Shark Week hasn't been the same.
Yeah, I will not be. Surprising to absolutely nobody, I will not be participating.
Yeah, because all the good things are on Twitter.
If something good happens during Shark Week, I will see it on social media, yes. It's just true. It's just true.
That imagine if you said that about the Super Bowl. Like, if there's a great throw, like I'll just see it on social media.
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
Most Super Bowls are like that. Most Super Bowls are not entertaining start to finish. Most Super Bowls would fall into that bucket of the good stuff will get to Twitter.
Now I want to do this. Let's do it.
Okay. Because you're going to get to Rams Patriots from a couple of years ago, and it's going to prove my point.
Listen, I'm not saying all of them. I would say the last 10 Super Bowls most of them are entertaining.
Okay, this last one was not.
Last one's not. What about the one that went to overtime the year before?
Okay, yes, fair enough.
Okay, Eagles Chiefs.
What was the final score of that one?
It was 38-35. Chiefs kicked the last second field goal.
That was the controversial holding call at the end of the game. Yeah, that one. Okay, yeah.
Since Cincinnati. Rams went down the field, down 4.
Was the whole thing entertaining? No. But was the fourth quarter entertaining? Yes. Odell gets hurt in that game.
Who cares? What does that have to do with?
It's not entertaining wire to wire. And again, something that I could just see on social media.
Okay. Tampa, not entertaining.
Not entertaining.
Kansas City, San Fran, the second one, they come back down 10.
Not super entertaining.
Oh, okay. I would have said that one's entertaining. Obviously, the New England Rams one.
Yeah,
that's not entertaining.
That is boring. That is the most boring Super Bowl
Eagles, Patriots.
That one was the one.
Foles.
In overtime? No.
This was that overtime one's the year before against Atlanta. This was the one where the Philly special.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I would say entertaining.
And now that's one of the greatest games ever played.
Now again, the one you're about to go to is the perfect example. We remember it fondly, but boring.
No. Okay. Can I say something?
Boring getting up to 28-3.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I know that's not where you were. I would rather watch teams go back and forth and score every drive than a comeback.
Yes.
I don't want to watch Atlanta have the wheels come off.
Right. The way we remember.
By the way, I went through 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
All had a Kyle Shanahan. Sorry, 3 Super Bowls that all had a Kyle Shanahan fall apart in. I just wanted to specify.
Yeah.
That.
Well, it's kind of his track record at this point. But that game we remember because of the comeback in great 28-3, and that's fine.
And it goes to overtime's first Super Bowl to do so.
But it was boring when the 28-3 part was happening. When we were getting to 28-3 was not that enjoyable. So yes, most things, you can just get the gist, the important stuff on social media. Are there some on that list that are back and forth, had to sit there the whole time? Yes. And the Super Bowl in general is something where the good commercials you see before the Super Bowl even happens.
Yeah. If you're watching the Super Bowl for the commercials, you shouldn't be doing sports talk radio.
I'm just saying that that event in particular is so over the top. It's so grandiose that not the whole thing can be entertaining. Please continue. I know we went on it. We took a left turn there because I have this belief that I don't need to watch Hard Knocks because all the good, important stuff I'll see on social media. And that led to this drop. I have not missed anything. I have not. You cannot prove to me one thing that has happened on one of these shows that people reference all the time that I don't know about because I've seen it on social media.
The Big 12 turns down the addition of Memphis into the conference.
Not only turns down Memphis, but turns down $200 million because that's what Memphis was offering the Big 12. I didn't know that this is how this worked, that you can just be like, hey, we'll pay you $200 million if you let us in. Feels like a bribe. Feels like something that you can't do. But I guess that's the fee to get in. But the Big 12 gave him the Heisman, said, no, thanks. We're good.
By the way, Memphis I thought would be a good addition. Pretty solid program.
It's an okay program.
Yeah, like as far as where they sit in college football, solid program. Steelers, awesome jersey release today. Have you seen these?
Who?
The Steelers.
I think I saw something like this.
The Steelers have new throwbacks. They're very Bumblebee. You're going to love or hate them. I really have no idea where you're going to sit on these.
Steelers.
I think they're fun.
And they're yellow, huh?
And they're yellow.
So,
and I have also some other jersey news. I'll hit you with that. Have you seen the first, didn't even know this game was happening. The MLB has a Speedway Classic this year.
Stop everything we're doing. Stop everything we're doing. Everybody else who's making a jersey, just stop. Don't produce them. Nothing's beating these.
The Steelers?
These are incredible.
I think you and I sit on an island on that. I think they're awesome.
Oh, the back's not great. I don't
even know if I've seen the
This
back.
is the back. I'll show it just to you. That's the back.
Oh, yeah.
The front is really good. The back is a little tough. That's going to do it for us here on the Monday edition of the program. Jim Rome is coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya!
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX